Hey, everybody. Welcome to True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. I'm Christy Brower here with my sister, co host, and partner in crime, Katie Weaver. Hey, Katie.
Hello.
How's it going?
Well, it's going well. We are in quite the storm, but
Oh,
it is
boy, aren't
winter in
we?
Idaho, so
We're getting
can we
all of winter
complain?
in like 5 days
Mm-hmm.
because we haven't had it yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the
Pretty
pigs
crazy.
are not feeling it.
Yeah, I bet not. My dogs also are like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
We'll pee on the rug, thanks.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
how little dogs are that they're like, yeah, no, I
Mm.
have to make them go out.
Well, I tossed Rico out the front door this morning, mostly because I wanted to see how deep the snow was, in comparison to him. And
Did he
I know
disappear?
he would have, but well, not completely. I mean, I'm not a monster, but but he no, he sidestepped that and jumped right into the flower bed where he promptly peed and came right back in the house. So
Well, there you go.
the flower bed is under an overhang, so there's very little snow in there. Yeah,
Right.
but because yeah, it is bad. I even had to drive in it today,
Yeah, I did too.
and I don't like to drive in this kind of snow at all. But I had to take
You
Scott
just
to
you don't really
drop his
like to
truck
drive,
off.
period, let alone
Right?
snow.
I do not like to drive, so yeah, I had to drive in the snow. All was
Yeah,
well, but
right. We're Idaho girls. We know what we're doing. We've been doing this our
oh,
whole lives.
I know what to do. I just don't want to do it.
Right. That's funny.
Well, and I got snowshoes for Christmas, and I have
Yeah.
been out clomping around my yard in them. I really wanted to get out in them today, this afternoon, but the wind's just blowing that snow around so much that
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't really want
It's
to.
that really light snow that if we get a
Mm-hmm.
blizzard is
Yeah.
going to screw us up for days.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Well, it already has in the mountain
Mm,
areas. There's a little teeny area near us called Swan Valley, and 3 nights ago they got snowed in Swan Valley, and there were somewhere around 50 people, just travelers passing through that could not leave Swan Valley. Well, Swan Valley's like what, population maybe 200? I mean, it's
maybe.
a tiny place, and
Yeah.
there's not hotels. There's a couple of restaurants, but not much there, especially in the summer. Mostly they cater to fly fishermen. And so the LDS church opened up for people to have a warm place to be, and search and rescue had a trailer full of cots and blankets, and just a bunch of local people just started hauling food in there, and things like there was a lady that had a baby that was nearly out of formula, and a mom brought formula over and diapers, and they basically just took care of them until they could get out the next day when the roads open back up, and that happens here sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah,
Fortunately, where you and I live,
yeah,
we're we're in the urban area. You need
yes.
to to see what is urban here, but um, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, I don't want to live where I can get actually snowed in. That's a hard pass for me.
Right. Well, that also happened in Driggs up near Jackson Hole, and there was a similar community, coming together to take care of the people that couldn't go home.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yikes.
Yep. No, the piggies hate the snow. They hate it. In the mornings after they get up and have breakfast, I have to throw some dog food out on the patio to get them to go out there, and then I have to shut the door and make them stay out there for a little while, just to be sure. They're potty trained, and they never have accidents in the house, but I don't want to start, so I make them stay out for a few minutes until they are crying at the door. Scott thinks I'm so mean. So, and then they come back in and they either go lay in front of the fireplace or they get right back in their beds and get wrapped up in their blankets. Yeah. But this
That's
morning,
very
Zig must
funny.
have been really out digging because he came in and his poor little nose was bright red, like he'd been out
Oh,
digging in the snow. So I don't know.
oh
One time
my.
I made a terrible mistake. I threw their dog food out in the snow, thinking it would just keep them busy for a while. Yeah. They both scratched their noses up in the snowbank because I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
And we didn't do that again. Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding, poor
Yes,
guys.
pigs in a blanket. That's right.
Right. Well, I want to say hello to everybody here in the chat. We are live streaming on YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah.
Hey, GB, Barbara, Ashley, Cami, Amy, Jessica, Sue Ellen, welcome from Queensland. Thanks for being here with us. Lydia, no, same Ashley. Is that a different Amy? Nope, same Amy. We have RJ, Bianca. Welcome, welcome, everybody. It's nice to have you here. If you are listening live and would like to, welcome, Red Girl. Jump on in to the chat, whether you're on Facebook or you're on YouTube. We love to have you here with us. This is our Wednesday night update show. And you would think that all our updates are about the Daybell Vallow case, but we're not even going to talk about it tonight, you guys.
No.
Because we have already talked about it so much this week, and
Yep.
we are going to be talking about it again tomorrow night.
Mhm.
So tonight, it's about everything else.
Yep.
And let's lead with the very best news we've ever heard, and that is Elaine Maxwell has been convicted of 5 of the 6 charges against her, including sex trafficking.
Yes.
Going to clap. I've
Yes.
been nervous. I've been really worried. This jury took way longer than I thought they should.
Mhm.
But
Yep.
finally. You know, and of course her defense is going to be appealing immediately, and it was all very dramatic.
Of
But
course. Well, you know, they're going to pick on the fact that the jury broke for Christmas. And
yeah,
they're
they
gonna
probably will.
try really hard to find a way to prove that the jury, you know, discussed it over Christmas dinner with their, you know, families or whatnot, and that they have to be removed. Yeah, they're going to pick at everything they possibly can.
They'll pick
But-
at everything they can, but
let's be real. These lawyers are getting paid a shit ton of money,
mhm,
and they're going to keep the faucet turned on for as long as they can.
yeah.
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 She
She
is
will
going to
spend the rest of her life behind
life.
bars.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, she could get up to 65 years. I think it'll be quite a lot less than that.
Mhm.
Sentencing right now is going to be February 18th. But she's 60. I mean, even 20
Mhm.
years would be probably the rest of her life.
Mhm.
It's something.
Yeah.
It's not enough, you know?
No.
She going to be on suicide watch, right? I think she has been for the last couple of years that she's been awaiting trial.
Mhm.
It's not enough.
No.
And it's certainly, you know, they said she's a scapegoat. Well, in a way she is. She
Mhm.
was involved. Yeah, she spent her birthday in jail. You know, she's been involved
Mhm.
all along, and Epstein's dead, and you know, she won't implicate any of those other famous people involved, so I guess she's made her bed.
Yep.
I'm just pleased for those very brave women who have stayed in this whole friggin' time, through multiple trials, through Epstein's death, through all of it,
Mhm.
to still show up. And, you know,
Yep.
this is something.
It is, and my God, they've been through a lot.
They have. I would sure like for that little black book to be not redacted, to be unredacted.
Mhm.
I think it's crap that there are still
Mhm.
people being protected in this situation. Total bullshit.
Yep.
How many
100%.
more women will speak out, right? I don't know. They have been through so freaking much, and there is still 2 charges pending against her. They're perjury charges. And so she will go back to court for those. There are also some civil trials to
Yeah.
come. There's a lot. Like, this isn't the end, but it is the, hey, guess who's staying in jail? Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah. Yep. Now
So,
we'll see what happens with Prince Andrew.
right. Now, interesting, coming up with Prince Andrew. That's coming up this
Mhm.
in January. And, you know, the stuff that she has alleged in that case was already validated in this one. And so this trial was going to have a big bearing on, you know, with Virginia Giuffre.
Mhm.
So we'll see. I am very curious about that. I don't know what American courts can really do to Prince Andrew,
Probably nothing, but
but it would be worth something,
mhm.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, their fight will continue to give victims of trafficking a voice. Yes.
Yep.
She was convicted of sex trafficking, you guys.
Yeah.
That's huge.
That is huge.
Huge.
Yeah.
And now we just have to keep holding the fire, the feet to the fire.
Yep.
But I want that black book released unredacted. That's bullshit.
Mhm.
It is not right. We know
No.
that, you know, she has definitely been involved and has every right to be exactly where she is for her choices. But there are others,
There are others.
and we
Yep.
should know who they are. And they should be facing the exact same charges. If they were
Absolutely.
involved in this,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if they're famous people, if they're famous politicians, if they're
No.
former presidents, whatever the fuck they are. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
They all
No.
need to be charged.
It's time to pay the piper, everybody.
It
Yep.
is. And I wonder what we're going to see happen now. With this conviction, it will change
Mm-hmm.
some things, you know? This isn't just alleged anymore. We don't have to say
Right.
alleged. This is
Right.
real. She's been convicted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll keep an eye on what's happening there with appeals and when her sentencing comes up and the trial with Prince Andrew and all of that stuff. There's so much more to come, and I'm hoping this is just the beginning of things getting significantly
Mm-hmm.
better.
I just can't shake what she said to the judge when
Oh,
she
about
said
why
that.
she didn't testify?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That she said in that extremely arrogant, condescending way that she has. She said to the judge, at least I'm assuming she did. We know that what she said. We don't know how she said it, but we're going to pretend like we know. So she said, she's not going to address the jury because the prosecution has done nothing to prove her guilt. So why would she bother?
yeah.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
See ya, you arrogant bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Whew, yeah.
Yep. So that's a biggie today. A big,
Can
big
she
biggie.
write a book? She cannot profit from her crimes.
No.
Could she write a book? Yes. Could she profit from it? No. She
Yep.
can't profit from her crimes.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. The name, you're right. They could just find another trafficker and keep doing the same thing. Exactly. And there are women who must be held accountable, the ones who are protected in Epstein's plea agreement back in Florida. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This is what kills me, you guys, is this is women involved in this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This, it makes me physically ill
Yep. Absolutely.
to hear about that.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's great news though. It's great news.
Big precedents being set these days between the Crumleys being charged
Mhm.
and Maxwell being convicted and the Duggar fool being convicted. Like these are some good precedents being set these days.
Well, I'll tell you another
Yeah.
big precedent that was set last week, and that was Kim Potter was found guilty on all charges.
Yes.
And if you remember, Kim Potter is the police officer who supposedly mistook her mixed up her taser and her gun
Mm-hmm.
and killed Dante Wright. She was charged with first and second degree manslaughter. She has been convicted of both.
Yes.
She can do somewhere around 15 years. I think it'll be around 10. That she actually serves. Yeah, huge in Minnesota.
Yeah.
It is huge because police officers have to be responsible for their behavior. Whether it was an accident, it wasn't an accident, I don't care. Cops have to be responsible for their behavior and choices, and we've been seeing a lot of the opposite of that, you know?
Well, and I'll tell you what I think really sunk Kim in the end wasn't what she did, it was the way she acted after.
Oh, yeah.
She completely fell apart. She did not try to help the victim.
No.
In shooting him, he rolled down a hill and his car was in a terrible accident. She didn't help any of the victims.
No.
She didn't try to resuscitate him or get medical. She didn't do anything. She just completely went to pieces. And that's one of the things that they keyed on quite a bit. Like, not only did this happen, but then you did nothing to try and fix it. And then the few days after this happened, the way she and the chief behaved.
Yes.
And she finally resigned, and they asked her, why did you resign? And she said, basically, she said she resigned because she didn't want to see riots destroy her great city. Not because
no
it
responsibility.
was the right thing to do, not because this had happened, and no responsibility. No. It was all on riot.
Well, one of the jurors has now come forward and talked about the thing that turned them. They were about half and half for a long time, and they really were struggling. The thing that turned them is when they were able to handle the gun and the taser physically, and to realize how different they were, and how difficult it really was for them to believe that she could just mistake one for the other, because
Mhm.
they said the taser was sort of like clicking a mouse,
Mhm.
and the gun was literally pulling a trigger that has
Mhm.
resistance.
That
Like,
is
how
remarkably heavier as
Yes,
well.
yeah, way heavier. And so they said that was one of the biggest things for them,
Yeah.
was realizing, like, how can you mistake the 2 of these? Even if you grabbed the wrong
Mhm.
one, wouldn't you know
Mhm.
immediately?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. That's an
yeah.
awful one.
It
Yep.
is. It's an awful one, but, it's some justice, at least for Dante Wright's family. It certainly doesn't bring him back.
Yeah.
But it is, we've seen with Derek Chauvin this year, and now, um, with Kim Potter, we are seeing some accountability with
Mhm.
police finally starting to
Mhm.
happen, and we just need to see more and more and more of
Mhm.
it.
Right. Not because police are bad or good, but because of their profession, because of the
Right.
responsibility and the power that they hold, there
Yeah,
has to be a high level of accountability. That's
right.
all.
Their choices, their behavior while
Mhm.
they're acting as a police officer has to be impeccable, and they can't just fucking kill people for the sake of killing people.
Yeah.
They can't, and we
No.
can't let them.
No.
And that's where, I think that's where we're at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. I would imagine she'll have to compensate the family as well. Yeah, I'm
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, and her department. I mean, we're nowhere near done with this one. We probably
No,
are, but as far as the courts are, no, they're not.
there's more, and of course she hasn't been sentenced yet, but
No.
she is in jail. Her attorneys tried to talk the judge into letting her report to jail after Christmas, to
Yes.
let her go home to Christmas first, which
Because,
honestly made me sick.
yeah. Why? Because she's a good Catholic and Catholics don't belong. No shit. Her attorney said these words: a good Catholic does not belong in jail on Christmas.
Right.
That
And
was his
also
argument.
that she's not a risk to her community.
Mhm.
Really?
The way her lawyer spoke to the judge after
Oh,
the
it
verdict
was
was read, whoa.
so disrespectful.
It was the most condescending shit. I could not believe it. Well, and of course she was like, well, she immediately asked her to be remanded. And
Yeah.
then Potter's attorney, one of them, jumps up, Your Honor, we haven't even discussed that yet. Judge is like, I have, you know.
Right, that there's no discussion, this is up to the judge.
hmm But
Right, the poor guy
also,
she killed didn't get to go home for Christmas, exactly. What a
right.
slap to Dante Wright's family
hmm
if she were allowed to go home to
Yeah.
Christmas,
Well,
like,
and
what the
everyone
hell?
else who's convicted of a crime and immediately remanded. That's not the way it goes.
No,
That's not the way it goes.
no, that is not
And
how
it
this
sucks
works.
for Kim Potter's family. It does. And it's not that we don't have compassion for them, but come on, man. I, she knew she'd be remanded. Everybody did. But that argument was so sick. But the way
Oh, it was.
he spoke, yeah. Or I had the same thought, Cammy. Potter's attorney getting help from Means. Actually,
Yeah,
prior. It
yeah.
was prior level condescension. Wow.
So
hmm
disrespectful of the verdict, so disrespectful of the victim's family.
hmm
Like, come on, you know?
The way he said to the judge, well, since I guess you've already decided without us actually having a conversation, she was like, basically, like, you want to have a conversation? Come have it.
Yeah,
She didn't even rule. She didn't even address it. She just let him say his piece. The prosecutor was like, oh, yeah, we agree with you, Judge. And that was it.
yeah.
She didn't even say, no, no, we're still remanding her. She didn't even address it. She just kept going.
Right, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those are two really, really big wins, I think, right now
Mm-hmm.
in the world of true crime, that we're seeing
Mm-hmm.
some accountability happening in a way that we haven't,
Definitely.
or not enough of by any means, but it
Mm-hmm.
can't be the end. This is
Yeah.
like the beginning of a better period,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we got screwed on Kyle Rittenhouse,
Mm-hmm.
little asshole, but we've had sorry, he is, but we got a lot of other good things have happened in the justice system this year, and it's not that everything's perfect and all good things happen. It's not true, but some of these big cases, we're seeing some accountability that we have not seen before, and
Yes,
that gives me a little bit of hope.
100%. Yep.
Yeah. So, speaking of that, speaking of assholes, why don't you tell us about the Crumbleys?
Oh my God. One of you did
Ooh,
ask if we're going to talk about Amelia tonight. We are. Uh, we'll get to that. But yes, Tyler, we are going to talk about Amelia.
yes.
But yes, let's talk about the Crumleys. My God, these garbage people.
Hmm.
And so they've been back to court because, they wanted to bail out.
Right.
And the prosecutor was like, "Oh, why would we let that happen?" And the judge
Right.
basically was, agreed. But here, they brought a little more, a little more money to the table, right? Well, not money. The prosecutor brought a little more evidence in to go, look, this is, don't let them out. So
Well, and
here's,
like they already ran once. Why would you
right. Why would we let them go? So here's a few new things that we learned about the Crumleys. We learned that there are some substance abuse problems with both mom and dad that have been kind of overarching their family for the last little while. We know that mom has been having an affair. So she's been so busy parenting poor little Ethan, but she's been cheating on her husband and, basically giving her family the finger. We know that Ethan has done some really weird shit, that he has been in trouble for at home for torturing animals. We know that he kept the head of a baby bird in his bedroom. And remember, torturing animals, that is a bad sign.
Yeah.
When you have kids torturing animals, that's a bad sign of what's to come.
Well, I mean, we're starting to look at the dark triad kinds of things here.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And also, she's texted a coworker and told them that Ethan had sealed his fate. Now she needed to take care of herself. I mean, don't forget that they did, of course, let Ethan, they've just completely abandoned him. They let him get a public defender while they have paid for some pretty high powered attorneys. I'm not quite sure how they're paying for him, to be honest, because they actually have had a lot of financial issues. But these attorneys that they have were representing at one point Larry Vassar. They've had some pretty high name or high end, not high end. Larry Vassar is not high end. They've
No.
had some pretty high profile clients, and yet here we are, affording that. But Ethan is just thrown to the wolves,
Yeah.
which Ethan shot up a school. He murdered people. He's going to get what he's going to get. But it is very sad to me that this boy has clearly been screaming out for help for a while. Also, people who know them
Including
have said that
the
Ethan
very
was
day
totally
this all happened.
uncared for. Yeah, just not getting cared for. You even just look at his picture, right? His,
Yeah.
his mug shot. This kid's eyebrows are grown clear together. He looks like he hasn't showered in many days. He's not cared for. And that's a
Yeah.
small
Nobody's paying
thing, but
attention.
no one's paying attention. No one's paying attention. And also, other people saying that he has had a weird fascination with guns for quite a while. So they just go buy him one.
Yeah.
What in the actual hell?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. The amount of compassion she has for a child. You're right, Aaron. Couldn't fill a thimble. It's terrible. It is terrible.
It is.
Yep. Yep. So these are things that we know. He has been struggling for a while and they have done nothing. We also do know from the school now for sure that they did ask them to take him home when he was drawing the picture and, being weird in the morning, and that they refused to take him home. Why? Did she have a date with her boyfriend? What was up? Why couldn't she take her own kid home? They wanted them to go straight to a therapist with this boy because there was something wrong and they refused to do it.
Yeah.
Now, the school should have said flat no. They should have said hard no. He can't come back until we hear from a health professional that he is safe to be here. They didn't
Right.
do that. They didn't do that,
No.
as we know. But if your kid's school calls you And you show up and there is something like that. If my kid drew a picture like that, oh my God.
Right?
Yes, we would have left the school. Yes, we would have gone to a therapist. Yes, we would have been extremely concerned. Especially those fools knew that they had just bought him a gun. My
Right.
God. Yeah. Hi,
Right.
Mallory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they knew.
Hmm.
They didn't even check him for it to see if by chance he had it on him.
No.
Like, oh my gosh, you guys, this case just, it's
Yep.
just, these people are so horrendously horrible.
Yeah.
The worst parents on the planet.
Truly. Now, Ethan is not due back in court until I believe the 7th of January. So we'll keep an eye on that. I mean, we'll see this case through to the end because this is such a huge precedent that's being set here with parents being charged. Huge.
It's
Yeah.
been coming for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and this case is a perfect example of why it needs to.
Mm-hmm.
And it is. It's good news.
Yep. Yep. Most definitely. Yep. So there you have it, boys and girls, the Crumleys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well, Katie, who do you want to go for it? Take one of your cases and run.
You know I will. You'll regret this. No.
Probably.
Actually, I want to talk about a local missing girl.
Yes.
We do have her aunt in the chat, so I want to welcome her. And uh, this girl went missing last week. I'm going to put up her picture and then I'll get a little more info for you. I've got two different pictures. She's a little different in them, so I'm going to share both of them with you. Uh, she came here from Spokane. She came to Idaho Falls last week. She saw her sister at Outback Steakhouse on Tuesday around 6. Her name is Amelia. And
Oh, and
she's
her
not,
cousin Tyler is here as well. Yes.
yes, she's not been seen since. And her family is just worried sick. I mean, obviously, she disappeared before Christmas. She, there were some weird things. And I hesitate to have this conversation because, ooh, I hate it when law enforcement does this, but law enforcement's really working hard. So I'm not blaming them for anything. But too often when these things happen, they write it off as suicide, right? So I want to be careful with that. There is some evidence, she left some evidence with family that worries them, that makes them wonder. And so we are going to say that. However, we're not going to leave anything off the table because too often these cases with these young girls do get written off as suicide when they shouldn't have. So I don't want to
Right.
leave anything off the table, but
Yeah.
that is something that has been thrown around a little bit. This is her other picture, a little different. So I wanted to make sure that you see them both. However, pink hair, blonde and pink
Mhm.
hair in both. She is driving a white car with a black hood. And that's the other thing that hasn't been seen. It's a 1998 Honda Accord with a black hood. Anybody in the Southeast Idaho area or not, because we don't know that she's still here. We're
Right.
assuming, right? We don't know. And so what we're really looking for is this 1998 white Honda Accord with a black hood. That's not that hard to spot, right? That's pretty
Right.
unique. So she's 22. And again, her name is Amelia. And if you were to see that car or something that looks like it, just call the police.
Right.
Most specifically, Bonneville County Police, but wherever you are, call the police because
Yeah.
that car is the biggest clue.
Yes. Yes, it is. And if anyone sees it, that's,
Yeah.
we just want to help bring Amelia's family some
Yes.
peace.
There's also a Facebook page called Find Amelia Leonard. It's Leonart. And I'm going to put a link to it in the chat as well so that you guys can see it. But join her page if you can. Keep an eye on that. And of course, to Amelia's family, you guys, if there's anything else we can do to help, we absolutely will. We'll
Yeah,
continue
most
to share
definitely.
her stuff. Keep an eye on it. You guys, somebody has seen something. That is the constant in our cases, right?
Absolutely. Somebody
Somebody's
knows something,
always seen
even if
something.
they don't know that they know. And that's
Right.
why, many of you that listen to us are local to us. And that's why it's important to share this
Hmm.
information because if you've seen this car, if you've seen this
Yep.
girl at a gas station, this is the
Hmm.
kind of stuff that needs to be reported ASAP.
Yep, absolutely. Well, and with our weather being real rough right now,
Yes. Our
you
weather's
know,
horrible.
and how rural we are, you just don't know. You don't know
Right.
if it's possible that that car is somewhere that's just we haven't been able to see or get to yet, but somebody has, because this is Idaho and somebody
Mhm.
is always in the out of doors, you know?
Right. Yeah. I mean, this is perfect snow machining weather, and so
Mhm.
if people are out snow machining, it would be the time to be keeping an eye out for this
Yep,
car.
cross country skiing, mountain lion hunting. There's a lot of reasons why people are out. And one more pig, just in case. But
Yeah,
at any
she's
rate,
such a
that
pretty girl.
car, I just feel like that car is the key.
Yeah.
That somebody's going to have seen the car, and that will be a big clue to finding Amelia and helping her family. So that's that, and we'll definitely keep you guys posted on it. But go
Mhm.
follow their page if you can, and that's a good way to help support them and also share. Yeah, Cami, thank you. Because Cami, you are on the other side of this, right? The other side of where she came from. So I know this is important for you to see this and share it as well. So yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah. All righty. Well, should we talk about Denver?
Let's do. Oh my
My
gosh.
God, you guys. I
This
don't know. Yeah, and see, she came from Spokane County, so yeah, I knew. I was hoping that you would see this. Uh, so you may have heard that there was a shooting in Denver a couple of nights ago. And this one is just, it's such a terrible thing. This guy was targeting tattoo parlors.
yeah.
And the first parlor that he shot up is Soul Tribe. And it just so happens that we have had tattoos from Soul Tribe.
Yeah, we've been there a couple of
We've
times.
been there a couple of times. Yep. When we were,
This tattoo on my arm, I don't know if you can, it's so hard to turn my arm so you can see it, but that's not working.
yeah.
Like there now you can. This tree
Yeah.
with this owl. I
Mm-hmm.
know I cannot get the right angle, but anyway, that tattoo was done at Soul Tribe. Two different visits, two different
mm-hmm.
years
Yes. This
in
one, I'm
between.
also going to struggle. This is a moon goddess. That's also going to suck. And a feather on my foot that we're definitely not going to try. But
You wanna
yeah,
get your foot up
very
on your
cool
desk? Come
place.
on.
Right? You
Yeah,
guys
a
don't want that?
really fun pla we loved Soul Tribe Tattoo, and
Beautiful, beautiful place.
this is just heartbreaking.
It is because this was not, now we don't know that he went to Soul Tribe specifically. He went to two different tattoo parlors.
Right,
This was he shot across the city and made it that far. He also shot a police officer, though it does appear that she's going to live. In Soul Tribe, he shot and killed the owner, who is this amazing lady who is a legend. She's a legend in
yeah,
the tattoo world, not just in Denver, but across the country, but particularly in
right.
Denver. And I do know her name, but I'm gonna have to pull it up anyway because there's several names. Yeah, Alicia Cardenas is her
Yes.
name. Shot and killed her, and then he killed her employee, this beautiful girl,
Mm,
and her name is Alyssa Maldonado. And the man with her is her husband. That's Alyssa's husband, Danny. Danny's a piercer, and Danny, I believe, is going to live, but is seriously injured.
yes.
No, Danny didn't live. I'm sorry. No, Danny did not live.
Oh, he
So,
did not. Oh,
no, I think that's an update. Anyway, all three of them. And then he left there and headed to another tattoo parlor where he shot and killed a guy by the last name of Schofield, who worked at the Lucky 13 Tattoo and Piercing in Lakewood. And then he ran into a Hyatt hotel and shot and killed a clerk. It's so senseless. So, this is him. He owned a tattoo parlor. This is why I'm quite sure this was personal, but he owned a
yeah.
tattoo parlor in Denver until 2017.
And it was called Flat Black Ink,
Uh-huh.
which I find strange, but
hmm His name is Lyndon McLeod. He did die in a shootout
yes.
with the police. The officer that he shot killed him. uh,
Yeah.
and she's quite injured, but she was able to fire back. So apparently, he has had a real history of extremist views. In 2017, he sold his tattoo parlor and sold his house and bought a converted storage container and has
Like
been
shipping
living in that.
container.
Yeah, shipping container. Thank you. Has been living in that, writing weird extremist books ever since.
Yeah.
Now, in the picture I showed you, his hair is dark, but we understand that actually in the actual event, his hair had been dyed blonde. But at any rate, they still don't really know why. They're still going through his stuff. There's some very weird interviews with him on YouTube and whatnot about the books that he was writing.
Well, and there's some indication that he's had a psychotic break.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
this was fueled by a lot of hate on his part
Yes.
and some psychosis.
Hmm. Yeah. Yep. So that is most of what we know, pretty much. What's this is, of course, is ongoing, and it's not as if there'll be a trial or anything because he has died. But it's still important to note. I mean, it's reminiscent of a couple of years ago when that guy shot up all of those Asian massage parlors back
Right.
east. And as it turned out, he had a problem with a sex addiction, and he targeted those places because of his own issues.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, McLeod owned a tattoo shop, shot up tattoo shops. There's something
yeah.
personal there, but it's just heartbreaking.
It's so horrible for their families. Just unbelievable. Yep.
Yeah. It is heartbreaking and to have been there and
Yeah.
it's the coolest place. It has a really great vibe, really talented artists.
Hmm.
Just so sad, you wonder if Soul
Yeah.
Tribe will even come back from this.
Yeah. 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 Lyndon James McLeod. Now, he actually had a pseudonym that he wrote under, too.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to tell you that. Hold on. I should have. I pulled up two articles. I pulled up one and then found one that was better. But, we try to check three articles before we report just to make sure. Because, sometimes people
Mhm,
get things wrong and we don't want
mhm.
to be that person.
And
So.
sometimes we get things wrong, it happens.
It happens. Yep, it does. Let's see. I did want to say that the fifth victim's name was Sarah Steck. Sarah Steck.
And is she from the Hyatt Hotel? Is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Jeez.
He did
Imagine
not know her. He did know the other four
Yes.
loosely. Yeah,
But just walked in somewhere to just do some more shooting. I
yeah.
just
Guess he just wasn't done yet.
You guys,
Yep,
how do we I don't even know how to even
yep.
have that conversation at this point.
Well, and both Alyssa and Jimmy have a young child, a little boy. They've only been married since 2020.
Danny.
Danny, sorry. Yep. And Cardenas, uh, Alyssa, she has a 12-year-old.
Mm,
Yeah.
it's just awful. I just
Yeah.
definitely sending our condolences out to
Yeah.
all of those affected by this and
Just so thoughtless, uh, senseless. So, about his book, he said his book philosophizes with a jackhammer. He says, I tend to look at the world in threes. I look at the world currently, then the world below it, and the world above it. You have the terrestrial plane, then the sublevel, then the atmosphere. This is how he's looking at things, I guess. He said, I
mm,
considered myself an artist first, then a man interested in ideas and culture second. I just
mm,
can't believe that this wasn't particularly on Soul Tribe on Alicia or Alicia, that this wasn't
personal
targeted.
in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it does seem like that, doesn't it?
Well, she's been very successful.
Right.
And
Very,
he
very
clearly
talented artist.
not been able to keep his shit together. So, yeah.
Really
The
sad.
pseudonym is Roman McClay.
Oh, yeah.
Roman McClay, and the book series is the Sanction series. If you're interested, I mean, I don't know why, but sometimes it's interesting to look into like what was going on in their head.
Right. I mean, are those books kind of his manifesto?
Are
Like,
they?
what
Yeah.
yeah. such such the the
Yeah.
causing of senseless amounts of pain to other people
Mhm.
is something that I struggle with so much with understanding.
Yeah, no doubt. Yep, that's a terrible one, without a doubt.
Yeah, very sad. I wanted to say thank you to Barbara C for the chat.
Oh,
Our
thank you,
super chat
Barbara.
is always on, and so if you feel like you want to tip us or help us out, support us, you always can. No, it's not required or expected, but it is appreciated.
You help us keep the lights on.
Yeah, you do. Because we're about to start season 3 of this
Yes.
podcast, you guys. Can you believe that? We're heading into season 3 with about 500 episodes under our belts.
Yeah.
And we have some new stuff coming for season 3. It's going to be
Yep.
really exciting.
Yep. It is coming. Very exciting. It's
Yeah.
fun stuff.
One last story that have found very interesting, and we haven't really talked about this, but it's something that we should be talking about. This is Paul Apodaca. This is from Albuquerque, New Mexico. So, this is the weirdest thing. A couple of years ago, Apodaca had a standoff with the police in Albuquerque. He was living with his aunt, and his aunt called and said he was punching her in the face, and so they have this hour-long standoff with him where some officers snuck into the back of the house and got the aunt and a 96-year-old relative out of the house. He tried to force the police to kill him, and they wouldn't do it. He, at the
Yeah.
time, had knives, not guns. Apodaca actually told the police he wanted them to use deadly force on him,
Oh,
and they wouldn't. So he did about a year in jail for that. And then this past summer, he walked into the police station and he confessed to killing 3 women in the 80s.
wow.
Um, he was 53 when he confessed, and he'd said that he had found God, and that's why he was confessing.
Wow.
He's been in jail, and they're now starting to identify the women that he killed. They were teenage girls, to young women. They were random. He killed them in public, either by stabbing or shooting them. And he's basically, you know, he's the same kind of guy that keeps doing this kind of crap. He hated women because they never went for guys like him.
Oh, God.
So, the usual. Um, So, anyway, interestingly enough, now they are beginning to identify his victims and actually charge him with them. And he's been charged now with 2 of them. He has not been gone to trial. And I don't know if he will, if he's going to plead guilty or what's happening. But he's somebody we're just going to keep an eye out because it's not
Mhm.
very often that they're calling him a serial killer. He did kill 3 different women,
Yeah.
so we'll see. We don't know if maybe there are more because often when the confessing begins, it's just the
Mhm.
beginning. So,
Right.
take a
Well, and
look.
sometimes the confession is the beginning of a game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that it is. But apparently he thought he better go to prison because the police weren't going to kill him, which I find very interesting.
Wow. This idea of suicide by cop is so awful. It's so awful
It is,
to
and
do that to another human being
yeah.
and put that on their conscience for the rest of their life.
Henry Lee Lucas comes to mind. Yeah, GB,
Yeah.
that's true. Well, and also this idea of needing to use deadly force. I mean, when there are perpetrators out there that are forcing that, how
Mhm.
does that change the way that the police react, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Suicide by cop, there he is, yeah. Um, Very interesting situation with him, but we're just gonna kinda keep an eye on him.
Yeah.
And I just saw today that he was charged with another, um, of the women that he said that he killed. So Very interesting to see how that all goes.
Absolutely. Well, there's something with him too, and some rape cases.
Yeah, see, they're very unsure. He's been in and out of prison all his life, and he's been in a lot of trouble, so there
Yeah.
are known things about him, but the
Yeah.
murders were never known.
Well, you know how last week we talked about the Albuquerque mayor who said we are going to clear the shelves of all of the rape kits?
Right.
We're going to process these 5,000 rape kits. Well, guess whose DNA showed up in the rape kits?
This dude.
This guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Interesting.
he's well known to law enforcement, has been in and out of jail all of his life, but they had,
Yeah.
no idea
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
he had also commit some murders.
Yeah. Wow. That is something. Oh,
Yes, it is. So we're gonna keep an eye on the Paul Apodaca case and see what's going on with him and see what they figure out, They may actually be able to close a bunch of cases around this dude.
right. That's pretty wild. That's
I
exciting, though.
know.
Really exciting.
Well, it is. At least he's off the street.
Yeah. Yeah. A little bit of news more in the Mast case. We talked
Oh,
last week
yes.
about the Mast case. This is Jessica Mast, the 4-year-old that was murdered by her parents. This was that Mennonite murder that happened
Yes.
last Christmas time. And
By her parents and the neighbors.
and we were just
Mm.
talking last week about the fact that it's been a year and mom and dad are both out on bail and living on ankle monitors with various family members. The neighbors are both still in jail. Uh, but yesterday, I found something that I just thought was really, really concerning.
Oh
This
my
was a
gosh.
post from someone who is putting together a petition because they are saying that Mary and James have direct access to both of their children, the other
To their
two.
little boys.
Remember that when Jessica died, there was a 2-year-old little boy that was beat severely in a
Yeah.
crib that they managed to get to the hospital and save. And then an infant that was about 7 months old at the time who was safe, thank God.
Yeah.
Uh, and since then, for a little while, they were with family. And then the courts took them from family and put them in foster care. Now they've taken them back out of foster care and given them back to family who go to the same church that James and Mary do. Apparently, they are seeing their children. And people are really, really upset about it. There's also a call there to try to have the judge removed because the judge has been unbelievably permissive with the
So
math.
permissive, and this has been
Unbelievable.
going so slow.
Hmm.
There haven't even been preliminary hearings
Yeah.
for these people in a year.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
It's just it's horrifying. This whole thing is
Yeah.
so sickening. And yeah, I have real questions about the judge as well. But
Hmm.
why are they being allowed? Those kids should still be in foster care in some kind of a protective situation in foster care.
Yeah. It has actually been said that the ultimate goal right now is reunification. Reunification? These two are charged with murder, of murdering their child. How
Yeah,
could there be any thoughts of reunification with them and their
well,
children? How?
they well, it depends on state law, unfortunately. It depends on child protection law. Idaho is a child reunification,
Yes.
is a family reunification state. It means that the
Mm.
first goal always has to be family reunification. Maybe the state is too.
Yeah.
However, until these charges are resolved, they should not be having contact with those children.
No.
They shouldn't be having contact with any children.
No children, right. I mean, they're living with family members who probably have children.
Yeah,
Like, this is all wrong. These two should have never been let out on bail,
no, they
ever.
shouldn't have.
So,
No, they
but there
shouldn't
are
have.
people that live right in that area that are super upset about it, that are making
Yeah.
a lot of noise. And so we're keeping an eye on that. And if I can find the petition, they were supposed to be starting a petition. I'll definitely make sure that you guys see it so that you can sign it too. But, we want to see justice for Jessica, and these fools should be in jail where they
Well,
belong,
and
not
protection for
getting
these
to
little
see their
boys.
children. Yeah.
No. No.
No.
Yeah. The point here should be the safety of those children above
all
everything
else.
else, and that's clearly
Absolutely.
not a priority because why were they released from foster care to a family member before
Yeah,
this case has been resolved? That's
yeah.
insane.
Well, they went initially to James's parents, and they were only there for a couple of weeks, and somebody called CPS and alleged child abuse,
Yeah.
and they took them out of that home because unfortunately, these are people who believe that you have to basically beat the spirit out of a kid. You
Yes,
have to break them.
that's their whole parenting plan is to
Yeah.
break their spirit. We've talked about
Mhm.
it before, but that is a belief for them that you have to
Mhm.
break a child's spirit, which includes a lot of damage to their body and to their emotional health. It's just
Mhm.
it's horrifying.
Well, and I don't know if you guys remember, but these guys are Mennonites. They were Mennonites. And then their church had actually kicked them out because they were extreme. They'd had enough of them. And they started their own church. Well, now all the families that Jessica, or I'm sorry, that Mary and Ethan are living with, they have all started a new church because they had a falling out with the old one. So basically, we just have these groups of people popping up going, if you don't agree with my bullshit, then I'll just go start my own church over here. And then some of the families get loyal and they come over here.
Right.
It's very, it's disorganized, but it's also dangerous,
It is
because
very
this is what we're
dangerous.
getting is this kind of covering, not reporting child abuse, not holding each other accountable, and, getting some kind of weird religious idea that this is okay. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't understand. There should be charges against them in the abuse of the toddler, which
Yeah.
those charges should include a no contact order. Like,
Right.
what the hell, judge? What is going on here?
Hmm.
They shouldn't be allowed. They
No.
part of this case is I mean, they nearly killed that little kid.
Yeah.
He was purple,
Yeah.
just black and blue head to toe.
Hmm. Yeah.
Ugh.
I
Oh,
read yesterday that his back was covered in broken black bruises. Or I'm sorry,
yeah,
broken black blisters on his back.
blisters that have
He was
broken
2.
open. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was seriously injured. Why is there not a no contact order
Yeah.
in place to protect him? Why are we not protecting these little children?
Right. Why do they deserve this? Why?
They don't
Jessica
deserve
didn't deserve
anything.
this. These little boys don't deserve this. But it also really makes you worry about the larger community there and all of their children. Like, what the hell is going on?
Right? Well, and that's what a lot of people in that community are alleging,
Yeah.
is that there
There's
is a
just a whole
faction
lot
of
of child
people
abuse
that
going on here.
yeah,
Yep. Yep. And
awful
obviously,
stuff.
it seems that maybe the authorities are protecting that. And so,
Well, I mean, what the hell with
yeah.
this a year later and we still haven't even had a preliminary hearing on any of these people?
Yep.
Why?
Yep. It's not right.
No, it is not. No, it
Yeah.
is not. Well, definitely, yeah, if you see that, petition, throw it out into our, Facebook group so that people can sign it.
I most definitely will. Yeah, we're going to keep our finger on this. This is not okay.
No,
Yeah.
and we need to support this community that is trying, uh, to do the right thing here, that there's a
Mhm.
community of people there that want justice, that want to protect these little kids, so
Mhm. Well, and I've heard enough whispers over the years. They've had enough, you know.
right. I mean, they've known there's some shenanigans going down in their community, and yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Alright, well, I think that's everything we have for tonight, isn't it?
Well, now we've got all of that out of the way. I did want to congratulate Cami. She said that her son just told her that he's going to propose to his girlfriend of 5 years. So all the positive
Ooh,
vibes their way. Absolutely.
definitely,
Have we heard
absolutely.
any more on the Lauren Smith Fields murder? No, Joy. No, but we'll take a look.
We'll have to look into
Yeah.
it, I haven't heard anything, but it is coming down to the end of the year, and it is coming down to the end of season 2. This is
Yes.
our last case updates in season 2.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night is our last psychic hour in season 2,
Yep.
and that psychic hour is very special because our dear
Yes.
friend Kelly McLean, who is a talented astrologer, will be with us. She's going to be reviewing the astrological charts of Alex Cox, Chad Daybell, and Lori Vallow Daybell. So if you haven't had
Yeah.
enough Daybell drama this week, uh,
And you haven't.
you
Yeah.
know you haven't, please join us for this because this will be really interesting to hear what Kelly has to say based
Yeah.
on what we know about this case. And she's not so deep into it as we are and as many of you are. And so to hear what she has to say about what these individuals' astrology says about them is it's going to be really interesting.
It is. She's way down the rabbit hole. I've had several messages from her this week about asking for more dates, and she's matching stuff up, and she's brilliant. So it's going to be good. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be great. So join us for that. And then watch for some new stuff coming out of us next
Mm-hmm.
week. We have a new intro for our show
Mm-hmm. And
already.
some new
And
segments, a new format. We think you
yeah,
guys are going to love it. We think
we,
we're going to love it. It's
we
exciting.
do. And we've found some ways to bring you even more true crime.
Yeah.
So I know, hard to believe, but we are doing our best. So as always, like, subscribe, share. Please, help us help Amelia's family. If you are anywhere in our area between us and Washington, share this information. See if we can help her family find her.
Yep.
And, as always, you guys are the reason we're here. You're the reason we do this. So thank you for
Yes.
being here and being a part of this with all of us.
Absolutely. Yep. You
Yeah,
guys have. I hate to sound cliche, but you've been the wind beneath our wings. I'm just going to say it like
you
that.
really have. If you start singing, then I don't know what I'm going to do.
It's not going to happen. No, no. I won't. I like you guys too much.
There you go. All right. Well, you know it. We are True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. Have a great
Yeah.
night.
Take care.